This is Nadine with DIY Sweets. Today I'm going to show you how to make a low-calorie pumpkin bread. Great breakfast bread for this time of the year. Let's show you how we do. I have in this bowl my 2 cups of flour. I'm going to add to that my salt, my baking powder, and my baking soda. I'm going to also add my cinnamon, my cloves, and my nutmeg. Now all I want to do is just take this whisk and mix these up well, so they're very well blended. By whisking them together, we're keeping it light and airy, and we're making sure that there's not too much of one ingredient in one spot. That's all there is to that part. Now what we're going to do is mix up the rest of the cake and get ready to add this to it. In our large bowl, we're going to add our 1/4 cup butter, our plain fat-free yogurt, and our sugar substitutes. In my case, I'm using Trovia. I like it because it's a natural substance and not a chemical substance. Now we're going to beat this on medium speed until just blended. We have that blended. Now we're going to add the eggs one at a time. We're going to beat well after each addition. Now, we're going to continue to beat this for a couple of minutes. This is beat for a few minutes, and it's lightened up. It's not going to get fluffy like if it had all butter in it, because we have the yogurt is half of the fat. That also brings the calories down. So now we are going to add our pumpkin into the mix. And then we want to mix this in very well. I'm going to scrape that down, make sure everything's down in there. And then just mix that again a little bit. We're now going to dump our flour mixture in. And we're going to mix this just until it is mixed in thoroughly on a low speed. You scrape that down. And now we just have the one more thing to add, and that's our chocolate chips. Yum, yum. I love pumpkin bread, but it is so much better when you have that chocolate chips in there. Now we're just going to turn this on well enough to incorporate the chocolate chips into the batter and evenly distribute it. And there we have our batter for our pumpkin bread. We're ready now to put the pumpkin bread batter into our 2 pans. I've already sprayed the 2 pans down with flour spray, and I've already preheated the oven to 300 degrees. So now we're ready to put the batter in to the pans. So I have this, and I'm going to just scrape, making sure it's all mixed in well. Now I want to divide this batter into both pans. So I want half of it to go in one pan, and half to go into the other pan. Let's see how that's divided. I've got a little bit of batter still left in my bowl. So I want to see how this divides up and see which pan I need to put the extra batter in. It looks like this pan needs a little bit more. And there we have our 2 pans full of batter. Now that the pans are full, we'll put it in the oven. It needs to cook for about an hour, not quite an hour, about 55-65 minutes. So I'm going to set the timer for 55 minutes, and then I'll check it at that point. If it's not quite done, we'll let it cook a little bit longer. But I'd rather check it on the early side than the late side. In fact, I might even check it a little bit sooner, because sometimes this cooks a little bit faster when you're using the sugar substitute instead of the regular sugar and the alternative fats. So I probably will set it for 50 and check it at 50 and then go from there. So we'll be back when this is cooked, and I'll show you how it turns out. The timer has just dinged on this. So now what we want to do is we want to check and see if this is done. So I'm just going to pull my rack out, and I'm going to stick this in, and as you notice, it comes out very dry. So we're ready to take this out and let it cool. We want it to cool completely. Our bread has come out of the oven and it has cooled, so we're now ready to remove it from the pan, cut it and dish it up so that we can serve it. Before you take the bread out of the pan, you're going to want to run a knife around there to make sure that it's not sticking to the edges. I've already done that. Then all you do is you just dump it out. Now, the recipe says that this makes 12 slices. For me, to make sure I get the slices correct and the right number, is I want to eyeball this, and I want to mark the middle, and I'm going to cut from the middle. Now what I want to do, because if I cut from the end, I'm not going to get the right number. So that's 2 slices on each. So I'm going to again cut it from the middle, and that'll be 4. And then I'm going to get 3 in between each of those. So I'm going to cut it from the middle again. And cut it from the middle again. And then here I'm just going to eyeball it and cut it into 3 sections. And for me, this is the easiest way to make sure that they're all the same size. Because if I start at one end and cut, they're going to be not at all uniform. This way I'm able to judge better and get them all pretty much one size. Now that I have it totally cut, next thing I want to do is I want to put it on this bread plate for serving. And I'm going to just kind of tilt it a little bit so that it's ready to be taken. And I don't know if all 12 slices will fit on there. If not, then I'll just fill it up until it's full, and that will be enough. Because I can always refill it as people eat it. Here is our pumpkin bread, so moist and good, and yet it's only a little over 100 calories. Bake it up this fall and enjoy that delicious chocolate and pumpkin flavor. This is Nadine with DIY Sweets. Happy baking and enjoy this low-calorie pumpkin bread.